Thank you. Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Maxine is very good. You guys are not so good. Good to be back here in Bangkok. I am actually fresh. I landed yesterday from London. Now, the bad thing about that is that... Why are you taking pictures of this slide? There's nothing here. So I landed from London yesterday. Bad thing is, last night I slept about 4 hours because I was catching up on work. The good thing is the second day of the conference in London was very interesting. I was presenting there, and the second day of the conference was all about launching and running a mobile games business in Asia. 2 days conference, second day, all about Asia. Now, the good thing for us is that we're already in Asia. We're in the most exciting region in the world for mobile games, the fastest growing, the largest already, the one with the largest amount of gamers. And it is very exciting to be in this region of the world. I want to thank GMGC for inviting me to present to you guys. And I think in the next 20 minutes, what I want to do is cover a little bit of kind of different monetization methods and some advice on how you can generate more revenue out of your games in the most exciting region in the world. Okay, here's the clicker. I haven't tried this yet. Which one is it? Up? Down? Down. There you are. Fantastic. Thank you, Jesse. Okay. What you think of Google, you probably think of search, maybe AdMob, hopefully, Gmail, a few other things, right? You might also think about our innovative and sometimes crazy ideas like balloons, for example, or driverless cars. Google is a company that where we try to innovate, we look at the future, we like to figure out solutions to big problems in the world. But ultimately, do you know what our chairman of the board, Eric Schmidt, recently said to a conference like this? He said that revenue solves all known problems, right? So yes, we need the products that are actually going to be applied at the practical level. But at the end of the day, if you can generate enough money, you're going to be able to solve those problems by creating the right products. In your case, hopefully, the right games. Now, and why am I saying this? Everyone in this conference loves games, I imagine, right? Yes? Raise your hand if you don't love games. Good. That was a tricky... no, it wasn't a trick question. Come on. So we all love games in this conference, right? And how many of you would say, I'm in this for the money? Not that many. Okay, that's probably the good answer. But guess what? You probably need the money anyway because you want to continue making great games, right? So, as I say, revenue solves all known problems. What we're going to be doing today is look at the ways you can generate more revenue, how we can help you, how other people can help you. Now, there's a few ways that you can generate revenue in your mobile games. And if you distill them as much as possible, it comes down to possibly these three, okay? So we're going to be covering the benefits and the pros and the cons of some of these, right? And how you can possibly optimize them and improve the way you use them to generate as much revenue as possible so that even though you don't care about the money, right? You can use that money and that revenue to make even greater games. So let's start with a couple of insights. Paid apps used to be a key monetization method. So why aren't you guys making paid apps these days? Well, obviously because the money is not there. The users are not there, right? As you can see in this US example, paid apps get less than 1/10 the number of downloads of free apps. Now, every app is unique, so it makes sense for some to be paid. But free-to-play is huge, and it clearly is growing faster than any other monetization method. According to Gartner, free will account for 93% of all downloads of apps this year. And this is another take on the same question, but very specific about mobile games, so excluding non-gaming apps. This is a study we did with Park Associates about 18 months ago, and by that, we know that in-app purchases account for roughly 90% of user payments. The other 10% or so would be money paid for downloads of games, i.e. not free. And this refers to user payments only. So what this tells us is that in-app purchase expenditure is actually king in free games. In reality, one of the most important questions that you should ask yourselves if you're trying to build or grow a games business is, how many users actually do spend and how much money do they spend, right? There's different reports that look at the expenditure on in-app purchases by different types of consumers. but possibly around as low as 2 to 6% of total games account for, of total users account for 96% of all payments. And in addition, in general, only 1 to 3% of the users actually spend money within games. And you all know this, right? You all know have different versions of in-app purchase games, I imagine. You know the percentage rates of paying customers, right? You're lucky to have more than 3%. But most importantly, Todd Hooper, who is the VP of Online Services at Unity, and you might have heard of Unity before, recently shared that in games developed in Unity, 0.7% of all users actually spend money. That is a really, really small percentage of them. So here's a thought. If you want to generate as much revenue as possible for your games, can you ignore the 99% of people who don't pay in-app purchases? Now, the free-to-play business model actually serves a lot of users, but it needs to evolve, right? Until that happens, our vision to help you generate more revenue follows these 3 rules. First of all, in terms of business model, absolutely go freemium, because that's where the users are. Right? You want to capture as many users as possible, as many gamers, then go with a business model that they like. And that's freemium these days. There's not much you can do about that. But in reality, in-app purchases, for most developers, is usually not enough to build a sustainable, growing business. With data in hand, our vision for game developers like yourselves is of an ecosystem of products that combines different types of monetization methods and business models with analytics to give you the data that you need to apply that data and use the right business model for the right type of consumer. Let's talk a little bit about mobile advertising. Just to put things in comparison, this is a number from the US, and we can extrapolate to other countries from there. But in the US, around the advertising market is going to grow to $50 billion, the digital advertising market, right? A chunk of that being mobile, $50 billion. Now, the in-app purchase market is around $5 billion. So that's 50 billion versus 5 billion. Now, as big advertisers like Sinha, Thai Airways, P&G, Toyota grow, their advertising will slowly shift from traditional forms of advertising through digital all the way to mobile. However, for some developers, advertising in games may have either no connotations because you have never done it before, or some negative connotations coming from old ways of integrating premium ways of advertising into games. To exemplify what I was just explaining a moment ago about combination of different business models, this is a simple chart that hopefully will not be a surprise to anyone. The findings are very simple. If you figure out a way to combine different business models in your mobile games for monetization, you're going to generate roughly twice as much money as if you use only in-app purchases. The message is twofold. This is a sound strategy if you want to build a sustainable business, but it's not the best strategy of all. The message is figure out what works best for you, for your product, for your users, right? And do that. You have a bit of a learning curve in there. The second learning is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Use all the tools at your disposal to generate as much revenue as you can. And you don't have to trust me. The potential for monetization through in-app ads is large and growing. According to App Annie and IDC, in-app ads are the fastest growing ads right now. So they are a fast growing revenue source for developers. Flurry, which some of you may know, recently shared their market estimates for in-app ads, and according to them, ads in mobile games will generate globally $6 billion this year and growing to $12 billion by the end of next year. So the mobile ads revenue that is being generated is going to literally double in the space of 2 years. Whatever the number is 2 years or 1 year from now, the number is very big and it should not be ignored if what you're trying to do is grow your business as fast as possible and generate as much revenue as much as possible to reinvest into creating great games. But in order to know which business model works best for each user, you need data. And in our case, the products that, the technology that we put at your disposal is actually Google Analytics, which we have integrated with our advertising platform, AdMob. to give you all the tools as an integrated platform to use data, to gather the data and use the data to choose which business model is best for your users. Now, you can use them separately, of course. And in fact, you can use Flurry as your analytics solution, and then AdMob as your ad network, or you can use Google Analytics and then choose a different ad network, right? In reality, you don't have to use these platforms combined. But there are significant advantages when you use them together because of the level of integration involved. Now, advertising in mobile used to be boring, right? About 2 years ago, if anyone has suggested you should put a banner at the bottom of a game, I would have told you, please don't do that. Don't kill your game. That's not pretty, right? You need to do something that is better integrated, that looks better, and that adds value to the game experience, doesn't detract value from it. So the experience of mobile advertising nowadays is very different from that. And actually, it all hinges on a number of new products and new features that are available to all of you already. I'm going to go into some of those features in a little bit more detail. First of all, interstitials. They are possibly the hottest property, right? The hottest kind of generating type of business model at the moment. You can actually increase monetization rates 10 times to 20 times by using interstitials. A report released a few months ago actually showed that interstitials on an average revenue per user basis generate more revenue than in-app purchases. And that's something that you cannot ignore. The reality is that interstitials themselves are improving, and our interstitial CPM has more than doubled in the last 12 months. Another type of very exciting format for advertising is video. Some of you may have heard of TrueView, and even if you haven't, you probably have experienced it. When you go to YouTube, sometimes you get ads at the beginning of videos, and you get the option after 5 seconds of skipping the ad. That is called TrueView. It's called the name of the format is TrueView. And advertisers love it, and users love it. Because users, if they're not interested in the ad, they can say, you know what, I'm just going to skip it, I'm not interested. The advertiser pays no money. If the user is very interested, they watch the whole ad, and the advertiser is more than happy to pay more money. Of course, the publisher knows that the engagement is, that the experience of the engagement with that ad is much better because the user has control over how much engagement they want to show. This format is already available in mobile and already delivering great results. There you are. Now, video app install interstitials also work great and drive excellent revenue. This is just a full interstitial with a video preview of the app being promoted. And this is something that you can also use for cross-selling, for example. And remember that I was telling you about the boring old banners that you put at the top of the bottom of the page? Well, they have become smart banners. So there's still a space and a time and a place for banners. What we are doing is offering you some new technology that ensures that the experience of delivering that information to the user is integrated with the game as much as possible. These smart banners, what they do is when you change from landscape to portrait, they actually adapt correctly to the new way of looking at the screen. And finally, I want to briefly discuss new banner formats like engagement ads. These are banners that expand when the user taps them and enable the advertiser to introduce photos, videos, and maps. This format is extremely attractive for brands. Before going any further, I want to emphasize that these products work across operating systems, not only Android, but also iOS and Windows Phone as well. And it works great in all of them. Before you ask, of those of you that are interested in Western markets, Android, so the support for Android includes Amazon devices like the Kindle Fire as well. Anyone heard of Unity and Cocos? Some people? Yes? Okay, very good. So we have also integrated our services with the two platforms. So already at this point, if you use Unity or Cocos for your development needs as your engine, you can actually integrate Google Play services, you can integrate analytics, and you can integrate AdMob directly at the platform level. We announced the Cocos integration a few months ago, and it's already working very, very well. As far as analytics go, you can also access it in the Unity platform. And the good thing about that is that if at some point, or if your business covers more platforms than just mobile, or you want to extend into more platforms than just mobile, you can use analytics across all those platforms, even consoles, if you're going into that business. The benefits extend to other areas as well. AdMob is the biggest unified apps business platform in the world. Over 650,000 apps use it, 900 million monthly mobile devices, and most importantly, 2 million advertisers. The most important thing is that most of those advertisers are non-gaming brands. So if you decide to use advertising as your monetization method, it means that you're going to get the big brands in the different countries where you are available, as opposed to just getting your competitors announcing themselves in your game. And most importantly, we have dedicated teams in all the regions. Now, you don't like to use AdMob, for example, no problem at all. You can use it as a mediation platform for 35 networks. And this is very easy to do. And if the network you want to use is not already covered as part of the mediation platform, you can use custom code to add it to your advertising solution as well. If you need some more reasons to try AdMob, here you have one of them. We have actually paid out $1 billion to app developers, to mobile game developers like yourselves, in the last 2 years. And our CPMs have actually tripled in the last 18 months. Now, you don't have to trust me when I say it. You can actually hear what some of our kind of partners have said about the collaboration and how they are using our tools. Sega, for example, is seeing consistently high revenues coming from the solutions that I'm suggesting to you today. And also Backflip, out of the US. They are actually developing a strategy based on the ideas that I am sharing with you guys today as well. Koropro, which I only learned to pronounce a few months ago, Japanese developer, is developing is using a version of this strategy to generate revenue, which is giving them great results as well. By the way, I think this presentation will be available as a PDF later on, so you can access all of these examples. 2 minutes? 3 minutes. Very good. You have me on the screen, on the stage for 3 more minutes. RockU is another San Francisco-based games developer that you might have heard of. And they're actually using a combination of analytics with AdMob and also house ads for cross-promotion. What they're doing is deliver 100% of smart banners through AdMob for revenue. And for interstitials, AdMob is being set in an optimized position, being mediated with a number of other networks. Ultimately, at Google, we don't want to define how you should run your business. That is up to you. But what we offer is a significant amount of knowledge and experience in this type of business. Not everyone knows everything about in-app purchases or advertising. That's where we come in, and we can help you figure out what's the best type of implementation for you guys, for your product, for your users. Ultimately, you don't even have to work with us, but I would strongly advise you follow some of these suggestions. Choose your analytics. If you prefer Flurry to Google Analytics, that's fine, it's your decision. But capture the data, use the data to help your business. If you decide that the different ad network is going to do a better job for you guys, go ahead. But again, use the data, use the analytics to decide how to best optimize it for your users. The mobile games world is very complex these days, and there's of course a lot of questions that you need to ask yourselves, right? But we are here actually to help you answer those questions, grow with you, and take your business to the next level. There is actually a number of Googlers in the room today, and I'm going to embarrass them, as I usually do in this conference, by asking them to stand up so you can see them. I can see Vedran and Vinit over there. If you don't mind standing up. Any other Googlers in the room? I cannot see you from here. Over there in that corner. Okay, please feel free to reach out. If you want some additional answers to any questions you may have, we'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And if you want to get in touch with me, to be fair, as Maxim said, I actually chose WeChat and Line and KakaoTalk and Twitter and LinkedIn and a few other options. So feel free to use them to get in touch with me. I don't know if we have any time for questions. Oh, Jess is looking at me like, no, not going to happen, right? Yes?
If you want one question.
One question? Shall we give them the chance to ask one question? If anyone is interested.
That's a complimentary question for good timing here.
Who has a question for Google?
That I can answer.
I think they want to Google the answer.
Hi, do you predict that the cost to run ad campaigns will increase over the next few years?
Wow. Let me get my crystal ball. It's a very good use of your question. My prediction, no. I think my prediction is that the cost should come down. Okay? I think there is an inherent challenge with the in-app purchase model, and the in-app purchase model which at the end of the day is what defines how much money you need to make or how much money you can spend in user acquisition. Right? I think it's going to either evolve or change so that there are better or different revenue generating options for developers, and that is going to have a huge effect on the cost of campaigns. So I want to think that when the monetization methods evolve, that will have a positive impact on the cost of acquisition. And I hope that's what you were asking. Yeah? Okay. So my hope is that it will decrease. But it depends on how much money you can generate on your ARPUs and your LTV. All right? I think that's it. We got that question.
Great.
Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of the conference and see you in Beijing and Vietnam.
Thank you, Sergio. Very good timing. Thank you. Yes. Okay.